From Little League to the big leagues and everywhere in between. From one stage to another. Passion is my middle name. I'm JJ Davis. This is In Focus. This guy has blown up. And as he puts it, he wears many hats. Let me see. He's a radio host. He's a play-by-play announcer. He's a PA announcer. He's on the web all the time. He's an interviewer. He's a marketer. He's a relationship builder. He's a husband. He's a dad. Now, I told this guy, listen, don't sweat it. For the first time in your life, you don't have to do a thing. All you got to do is show up. Nick Handley.
It's great to be with you. It's been a while.
It's been decades.
It has. Other than crossing paths, CWS and various sporting events, where you can maybe say no more than two or three.
Right, because
sentences.
we're always two ships in the night. We're just passing.
You're going one direction, I'm going the other direction.
That's right.
Cross up. Yeah.
You're on the air, and I'm behind just looking at freaking camera.
You're doing the important work.
That's another story. You got jet lag?
Oh man. So Ireland was 2 weeks ago, and I always heard people talk about jet lag. That to me always just kind of flew over my head, but it was real, especially coming back. Catching back up on 6 hours.
Yeah.
And then to just add to a fun little challenge, we launch a radio show that following Monday.
Yes, it's all over the news.
And then 2 days later, we're back on a plane into Chicago for Big Ten Media Days. Just get back last night. I was telling you, I don't know if I'm going to make it because we were getting delays, and then all of a sudden, which never happens, all of a sudden the plane somehow goes back on time.
Right.
But here I am, and I'm happy.
But it's a good busy.
Yeah. Oh, right? I love it. It's the labor of love. You know it.
When did you know you started loving it? You grew up in Omaha.
Yeah.
When did you know that, you know what, I kind of like this?
Two things that always stood out to me. First of all, working with some tremendous people growing up, and I had my first really go around with Tom Courtour, Howard Borton. I was doing high school football with those guys.
Howard. You see him at the College World Series every year with that old recorder doing interviews.
I think it's gotten a little smaller, so I think he's now using a 1990s and not a 70s recorder, but so he's getting there.
What about you growing up in the 90s? You grew up during the glory years of the Huskers.
Absolutely. And listening to Kent Pavelka doing games. And I remember just, being at buddies' houses while we're playing Nintendo, listening to KP calling basketball games. You know? And it was always part of the background of my life. I played sports growing up, played, multiple, high school football, baseball, basketball growing up. So, I always had that passion, but it's one thing to physically play. It's another thing to want to be able to be a storyteller.
Right.
And it was just something that, it made sense to me. I never seemed to get real shy around a crowd or anything, even at the young age of 18 or 19. And Tom Courtour and Brad Burwell and Howard, they were all doing the high school stuff. I had actually gone to high school with Brad Burwell's daughter, and she knew that I was in broadcast communications at UNO at the time, and said, hey, we need a statistician, or my dad needs a statistician for their 1180 Sports Talk Radio, and would you want to help out? I did, and I can't remember who fell ill one night, and so I kind of filled in as just a color guy.
I hate to say it, but that's the way it works.
It absolutely does. That's why I was told young broadcasters, don't turn anything down. Don't say no, because it most likely will lead to something, but it also, even if it's something that's out of your comfort zone, you might realize you really like it.
Did your mom or dad push you or whatever in sports, or did you just gravitate to it?
I definitely not. And in fact, I wanted to go into college. My dad had a background in criminal justice. He was a hearing officer. And so I thought about that. And then I realized there's a lot of math involved. And I didn't like that. But so then I looked at the speech route of it. I remember talking to my advisor, BJ Hawkins at UNO, and she kind of helped direct me to broadcast communications, or at least communications to some degree. Mm-hmm. And then that's, while I was transitioning into that, is when I started helping out high school sports, and I just became addicted.
You talk about high school sports. You went to two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Millard South, Millard West. Yeah, that's
what
it was. Millard South. 3 older brothers all went to Millard South. We lived in the Millard South area, but then Millard West opened. And it was that opportunity where I wasn't forced to transfer, but they had open enrollment for that first year just to try to fill up the classes. And I had some buddies that were at Millard North that were going to go to Millard West. My JV basketball coach, Rick Hook, at the time was going to be the head basketball coach at Millard West.
That's right.
I was a huge Dan McLaughlin fan from his time at Norfolk. He was going to be the head football coach, just came off of a state title.
Dan, right.
And so, and Frank Ryan, being the baseball coach over at Millard West. So a lot of the coaches that were going there, that was attractive. And then I'll be honest, having new stuff, having cool new uniforms, the new equipment, the new facilities. Oh, it was awesome. So I still got a little bit of crap from my friends at Millard South, but they understood.
You go to UNO. Was it about broadcasting for you? Did you have an idea, or did you just head in that direction?
I wanted to play baseball at Kansas. That was the thought. I had a walk-on opportunity, and then my shoulder went south right before my freshman year.
What do you mean your shoulder went south?
Story time. I had the partially torn labrum, and it didn't require immediate surgery, but just the rehab process. I probably threw about. Now, at the time, you got to remember throwing low 8s.
Well, I tell
good.
people right now, if you threw 90s in the old days, that was a big deal.
It was unheard of. I remember Buddy Carlisle throwing 91, 92. It might as well have been 105.
Right, and now it's like you got to throw in the high 90s or 100.
Yeah, if you're a sophomore in high school and you're not throwing at least 90, then.
So you were a pitcher.
Yeah, I was a pitcher, and then I played a little bit of first base, but I was going to go to college and pitch, but I was maybe 82, 83, had a little movement.
That's maybe a change.
Exactly. And then once the shoulder issue, I just could physically and even kind of mentally could not get where I needed to be, where I could be effective at that level. So I just became a student, and I started coaching as well. Started coaching baseball. I couldn't play it, so I started coaching.
Well, you also coached at Columbus, correct?
Yeah, Columbus, head Legion coach there. Probably the best experience I ever had, though, was leading up to Columbus, and that was coaching with Dave Cork at Millard North from 02 to 07.
Corker, baby.
Yep. Having that 05 team was amazing. Evan Porter, Connor Gillespie,
I remember that
Robbie
team.
Knight, all those guys. I mean, I'm missing out. Some of the other players is amazing, but not only as a coach, but just kind of in a leadership role too. So it's interesting the different paths between broadcasting but also coaching have all kind of helped me in what I currently do right now too.
When did you get behind the mic? When did you say, I like this, I like that, but this is what I'm meant to do?
I think once I got into play-by-play, I had been in College of St. Mary's volleyball was the first thing I ever did. And as you know, volleyball is extremely tough to do play-by-play. First game I did, I thought I'm in way over my head on this. And then you start getting a rhythm.
But as sometimes you just got to dive in.
Absolutely.
You just got to do it.
Yeah, and you get a rhythm, and you start figuring it out, and before you know it, you're having a lot of fun with it. But my true passion was I finally got to call a state tournament in baseball, and that was it right there. That was what I loved to do, and so I really wanted to chase that. Got a chance to do a lot of high school football along the way as well. Got to do some color for UNO football with David Gustafson back when UNO had a football team. I know, right?
Man, you're hitting me right in the heart, baby.
I know.
Right.
But, so there are just so many great opportunities that people gave me. Like Neil Nelkin, the great Neil Nelkin, who gave me that opportunity. Know Neil?
Everyone
knows him, and if you don't, then I don't know what you're doing. But he gave me the opportunity, but not only the opportunity, but he was always there to coach and let me know if this was something that I should chase. And once I got his blessing, that's where I felt.
Right.
Yeah.
You've always had the voice. Summit Media, 2012 to 2013 or 2013 to 2022? That's what it was.
Yep.
What'd you learn there? Story time, here we go.
That radio ownership is very interesting because you mentioned Summit Media. It was Journal Broadcast, then to Scripps, then to Summit. Because
my God.
You know how that goes.
Oh, yeah, that's a group of winners.
Yeah, absolutely. And Journal Broadcast, actually, I really enjoyed. Steve Wexler was a tremendous general manager, and that felt as local as I've ever been with a company, even though they're out in Milwaukee. But being around the talent like Z92 and Todd and Tyler, those were guys I was intimidated by. And when I finally had a conversation with Mike Tyler, and as brash as he is.
Well, you realize.
I mean, those are legends.
Right.
But when he would talk to me unprompted, I kind of felt like maybe this guy respects me a little bit. And I felt like on top of the world because those guys are amazing and they're just genuine guys. They don't apologize for anything, but I just listening to their back and forth on the mornings was part of how I try to develop what I wanted to do.
We all take something from everybody.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's just simply the way it is. 22 to 24, the big NRG media.
Yeah, 1620, and I mean that's where I kind of started back in early 2000s as an intern, and helping set up on-site broadcasts for Kevin and Michael, and being around those guys, getting a chance to fill in as a co-host for Unsportsmanlike during CWS was really cool.
But see, you remind me of a quarterback who they allow to be groomed.
Yeah.
Allow to sit on the bench and learn. You learned before
I did.
You stepped up to the mic.
I did, and then the only reason I decided to leave 590 at that time was having the opportunity to do mornings with Gary Sharp, who I've known for a very long time. So did that. I'll tell you what, morning routine. Well, that
sounds like a morning show person.
That was
television.
That was an adjustment right
That's
there.
Correct,
and
baby.
So that was tough, and we were starting to build. I mean, between Gary's longtime relationship with Damon Benning, and that thing was an absolute monster of a show. I was obviously very different than what Damon was going to bring. So it took a while, and as we were kind of developing something, as things happen, contracts not renewed, and I'm a free agent.
Trust me, I know a lot about contracts. That's for sure. So where do you inject the personality? What's the personality? And is it more sports knowledge or personality?
I'd like to think it's more personality, because I think, as you know, people always want to put us into that corner as journalists.
We're not journalists.
Right, we're entertainers.
That's right.
And I think there are times that you'll kind of put on that journalist hat if there's information that
every
needs to be
now
shared.
and then.
Yeah, but if I'm not having fun, if I'm not at least laughing once per hour with 4-hour shows, then I feel like I didn't do
All right,
my
who
job.
said this? I'm a laid-back person, and I like the company of good people with no freaking drama. Who said that?
I don't know. Tell me that.
That's you.
That's me. Oh, did you have me quoted there?
No, I found it. That's right.
I mean, there's so many options, There's just so many options.
Yes.
And you got to, whether you're separating yourself entirely or at least having an identity of people they know when they tune you in.
Yes.
That they know what they're going to get.
Yes.
And for me, I think I've fit that identity as, that next door neighbor that's friendly. That's going to be, if you need a hand in the yard or if you need a jump, then I'm going to help you. I want that's how I want to be on the radio. It's I want to tune into my old friend Nick. That's and we're going to have some laughs along the way. I might say some stuff that doesn't make any sense. I might say some stuff you agree with or disagree with. But at the end of the day, we're buddies.
I feel like just sitting here. In all honesty, I haven't seen this guy for a long time. I knew him once upon a time, just a little bit, un poquito, way back when. But I feel like you're a straight shooter.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. I've always been, whether it's worked or it hasn't worked with certain pairings on the air and everything.
It's chemistry, man.
I think
it's chemistry.
I think at the very least, people are going to say, you know what, damn good teammate. Great teammate, did what he was supposed to.
Where does that come from?
Comes from sports.
That's right, baby.
Comes from great coaching. Comes from all those high school coaches I brought up, and even coaches before and after
that I
worked with. If you're at least, if you fall short, if you like I did at NRG, if it didn't work out where they want to make a change or they don't want to renew you,
right.
I don't want to look at it and say, boy, I could have worked harder at it, or I could have been a better team player, I could have been a better cultural fit.
Exactly. I've always felt it when I've looked back at my television career, and I've kind of been fired a little bit here and there. Who hasn't? We always say you're not officially in the business until you've been laid off.
That's true.
But back then, it was always about them. It was them.
Yeah.
And then as you get to be my age, you go, yeah, maybe it wasn't all them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think you and I both, and a lot of people that we interact with on a daily basis will always take that ownership as you get older.
You got to.
I think you realize that.
Well, listen, man. Nick Handley. It's good to see you, dog.
Great seeing you.
It's been a long time.
I know it. I know.
He's the guy.
We didn't get time to.
We don't need to talk. We don't need to talk
Labor
about
Day
that.
parade.
No.
All right.
Coming up next, we're going to parade in our real talent straight from the Beehive. Right after this. This woman is a natural. I had the pleasure to see her on stage recently. She was one of a beehive of singers and dancers, and it was amazing, a most memorable summer extravaganza. Joining me right now, let me see, she's a singer, she's an actor, she's a dancer, she's a vocal coach, she's a mom, most importantly, and more. MacKenzie Zielke.
Hi.
Is that it?
How you doing?
How's life?
It's good. Yeah, it's good. It's summer, so I get to hang out with my kids more than usual. So it's been nice.
But everywhere I look, you've been hanging out everywhere. Broadway bar, theater, Great Plains Theater Commons. I mean, you're hanging out everywhere.
Well, yeah, I got to stay busy. I love this community, so I try to stay involved as much as possible.
Oh my gosh, do you ever? Now, I've asked other actresses this. Were you the kind of girl that was always singing when you were growing up and the bug, et cetera, et cetera?
I was. My parents are both music teachers, so music was very much a part of my life growing up. And so I have very vivid memories of singing into hairbrushes when I was little to my Mamma Mia soundtrack and dancing around my living room and yeah, with my sister and my friends. And so, yeah, music's always been a huge part of my life, and I've always been a very dramatic individual.
MacKenzie Zielke, dramatic? Oh, gee, that's a surprise. When did the theater, the performance bug hit you?
I did a lot of performing. If we're talking specifically theater, I always knew that I really liked it, but I didn't know how it would fit into my life. I knew music fit into my life really well, just kind of being around music so much. Theater didn't really grab me by the shoulders until the summer after my sophomore year of high school. I traveled with the choir, the children's choir that I was in, to London to sing. And I got to see Kiss Me Kate on the West End. So this would have been early 2000s, and it was the revival production that had transferred to the West End. And I remember sitting in that theater, and I leaned over to my friend at intermission, and I was like, I want to do that. That's the thing that I want to do. And he looked at me and he goes, you have to do that. So that was sort of like the first moment where I felt like I knew I'd always liked it, but like that just grabbed me, and it was like with the curtains parting, it was like Dorothy stepping out into Oz, and all of a sudden the world had color.
Well, you know a lot about Judy Garland, but we'll get to that. So Millard North, you go back for your junior and senior year. Did you say, I'm jumping in?
That's exactly what happened. Yeah, I auditioned for the musical my junior year and got a part. This was only my second time auditioning for a musical, and I got one of the lead parts. We were doing Les Mis. This was like the first time Les Mis was available for high school, so I got to play Fantine. And so that was really amazing. And then the next year, I actually quit the children's choir that I'd been in for 12 years because I was like, I'm doing theater now. And I auditioned. I did a musical and a play that year. And the little girl who couldn't even make the ensemble of 42nd Street was winning top drama awards at the end of her senior year.
So I'm looking at you and I'm saying, do nerves ever fit in here?
Yeah, of course. Every day.
I didn't see it on the stage recently. You were at home, as I like to say. You were at home.
Thank you. I love to interact with people. Working at Grace, I worked for Grace University for a long time, and I would develop these shows where there was a lot of audience interaction, and so I got kind of used to being myself, but not myself, and talking to people. So that type of performing, it feels really normal and natural to me. I like communicating with an audience. I like seeing their faces light up when we do funny things. I like seeing them sad when we pull at their heartstrings. So I love all that.
Trust me, they light up. Now, before Grace, UMKC.
That's where I went to my undergrad.
Correct. UMKC, vocal performance, musical theater, BS. What'd you learn down there?
Everything. I was really fortunate in that I not only got the training through my university, but I also, it's a conservatory there. So it's, it always felt like I was hobnobbing with really fancy people because we were, all my colleagues and classmates are like big opera singers all over the world now.
What did I tell you? See, just look at it. You worked with the Lyric Opera.
I worked
Bar
with
Natasha,
Yeah.
a number of things.
Oh my goodness, Bar Natasha. Yeah. Yes. Those places were where I really got the best parts of my training. Just being out there and doing it. I think you learn so much more than just when you're in the classroom. I say this as a teacher, but I do think it's true. You need that as well. But the biggest things that you learn and the most impactful experiences come from the things you're doing outside the classroom. And the Lyric Opera of Kansas City, the Bar Natasha, the Cabaret Bar where I worked, those were the places I really developed my craft.
And I always tell people, I mean, you can want it all you want, but you just got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. Now, you and I know other actors and actresses, they have different routines, so to speak, but you just got to do it. That's the way I look at it.
I completely agree. I think that's the hardest part about all of this is finding the courage to put yourself out there and possibly fail a little bit. And the only way to succeed is to fail a whole lot.
Trust me, yours truly knows a lot about failing, that's for sure. Now, what came first for you? Comes first, the talent or the nerves or the ability to do it, the confidence?
For me personally?
I feel like the talent's first. You've got the talent.
Well, thank you. I think that, yes, the talent I think is what initially gave me the courage. Is I knew to some extent that I had at least a gift for singing. Like I always knew that. And I had evidence of that, for whatever that's worth.
Killing me, Smalls.
I had
killing
evidence of that. And so I think that's sort of the thing. I said, well, I know I can at least do this. And everything else is the courage that you develop, I think, is definitely not something that's totally, I haven't like fully conquered all of my fears about performing and putting myself out there. But I do think that the talent and knowing that I've had some amount of success helps me fight those nerves. And I would encourage anybody who feels like they're not sure which they need first to know that you have talent and let the courage develop.
Well, your talent then takes you for your master's at Regent University, online.
Yeah.
Why Regent?
I needed an online program. I was already teaching at the college level.
Grace University.
That's right. And I knew that if I wanted to continue working there in any long-term capacity, I needed a higher degree. So I'd sort of been directing their musicals and working with the kids. And I knew that if I wanted a full-time position, I had to get an actual advanced degree.
That's hard for me. I couldn't do it.
It was, I actually kind of miss it now because I think I'm just such an academic, but during that time, it was great because my students were so supportive. They were, always cheering me on. They would bring me coffee to my, my little office where I was working, and they would, and my thesis project that I did for that master's degree was actually a show I was already going to direct. So it actually worked out really well. And I got to not only direct this show and kind of put my own spin on it, but I also got to write a paper about it and then get a degree. So
you're out of my league. You're out of my league. So she does 11 shows at Grace, 8 cabarets. Did that spawn you to do Broadway Bar 2014?
Yes, it did. So in 2024, September of 2024, Curtis Reynolds of Omaha's Broadway Bar reached out and asked if I would come sing a song at Mr. Toad's. My name had been recommended to him. Right. And yeah, it was just sort of a natural progression of the things that I've been doing in college, where I would, cabaret perform for people. And so yeah, I think that's been such a cool kind of addition to my life and my career right now, because it's not a full show and it doesn't take me away from my kids all the time, but it's such a great way to kind of stretch your wings and perform things you wouldn't normally get to. And as an artist and someone who always wants to keep growing, like that's so important to me.
Yes.
Is to never feel like I'm just here. I want to see how far I can go.
You don't want to put you in a box,
never.
So to speak. You always don't want to be typecast, so to speak.
I never do. That's been one of my biggest things that I've always fought against, is I never want anybody to look at me and know exactly what they, who I am and where I fit. I want to be a chameleon. I always have.
Fiona, Shrek. You've done just a number of shows. You've directed Chanticleer, Bellevue Little Theater. You've won awards, and most recently,
Oh, thank you.
she says, when she wins the Omaha Entertainment Award for playing Judy Garland at the end of The Rainbow.
That's
This means the world to me. Why?
um
You getting emotional?
I know I am. I gotta reel it in. Judy Garland. So through that, I've always loved her. And through the process of studying her and kind of stepping into her shoes, which it was a months long process, even before we started like real rehearsals, and her life and what she means to people and the tragedy of her, the end of her life and how she was treated. I see so much of that love of performing and just wanting to do that. I see that in myself. I see it in the young people that I teach. And when you play a role, when you do something that means so much to you, and you're not really sure how other people are perceiving it, and you hope that it's being received well,
Right.
because it's just so personal. So to say that it meant the world to me, I mean, was me saying, thank you everyone for caring so much about Judy and for seeing that love of Judy in our performance.
Now, we all know as actors that you always would like to plug in just a little poquito part of you.
Yeah.
What did you plug into Judy?
I think the passion to feel wanted, to feel like you matter, to feel loved not just by, in her case, her fans, but also by the people closest to you. There's such a fight in her of she wants to be loved by the world, but more than that, she wants to feel loved and not just taken advantage of, and not loved for being Judy Garland, but loved for being who she is at her
But
core.
here's the thing. As I listen to you, and I've seen and been amazed at all you can do and all you will do,
Thanks.
I feel like, because I know how I am, you're searching. You're still in search of. Does that make sense?
In search of, just in life, in what?
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I'm okay with that. I don't like things.
Because I know I am.
settled.
I'm
Yeah.
still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I think I still don't really know what I want my career to look like. It's not turned out the way that I had
Well,
imagined.
you know what I told you that night off the stage? You know what I said to her off the stage? I said, what are you doing? Why are you here? Didn't I?
You did.
And
I'm here because I have kids. I have a family.
Right.
And
that's the most important
Yeah.
job in the world, really, when you think about it. I've told you before, being a mother, men have no clue. That's tough.
it is. And I love my boys, and I can't imagine, A, not having them, and B, having a life where I don't get to see them as much as I do. I already don't get to see them as much as I'd like to. And so I don't know what the rest of my career looks like, but I have to take them into consideration every single time
That's right.
I do something, or I imagine the rest of my life.
You're young. You've got plenty of time.
Thank you.
You have to trust someone who knows, who's old.
Young-ish.
She's young.
I'm middle-aged.
You're not middle-aged.
I am. I'm in the middle of my age.
No, it's a good line. Excellent. Thanks for coming on. I
Yeah.
appreciate it very much.
course.
MacKenzie Zielke, I barely knew her. I did something recently with her, and that's another story. But friends, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
You're so sweet.
You're
Thank
wonderful.
you.
And it's from the heart. I can see it in her eyes right now. So for this latest edition of In Focus, I'm JJ Davis, and Miss MacKenzie. I like to say, I'll see you around town.